to the professors, because obviously we realize that we need to provide that training to the professors. So it's a 5-day instructor-led training. The one caveat is that the instructor has to pay their travel and expense, but we provide the training for free to the closest training facility. We have them worldwide.
What kind of backgrounds?
We basically say computer networking, database will be helpful, right? So any of the core things, you know, that I kind of talked about. Actually, let me go to the next slide. This actually will help me to talk about. So EMC, when we looked at this, we said, anybody who has operating application skill set, right, database and networking. That's what we see that most of these programs have. Any IT or computer science, MIS type program has. But they're missing the information storage piece of that. And so EMC said, hey, there's a great opportunity here. This course is generic, meaning we're not teaching EMC products. I mean, storage arrays are very expensive, as you can imagine. So we're not, teaching about our products and how to configure and do them. It's very storage technology general in that sense. We want to make sure that people have a good base and understanding of what a storage area network is and what that technology means. So this actually breaks down the sections, and I have a much more comprehensive outline I can give you, and I'm also happy to send anyone an evaluation copy of the curriculum too. But it breaks it down. So to your point, we want someone who has, networking experience would be very helpful, right? Because it's really just taking that general networking knowledge that you have about, how you set up a network and applying that in the realm of storage. So, and this is how it breaks down. The 6 sections is designed to be a 40-hour course. EMC has been doing it as training manuals, but we're actually coming out with a book in the end of this quarter, so March, April timeframe. That's going to be published by Wiley, probably in the $60 range. So that's, I think, going to be really a nice thing that we're going to have available to colleges. And this, like I said, I have a more complete outline if you're interested that breaks it down by objective for each of these sections. And so I like to put this up here because I talk about this is all this great opportunity, right? And what we see is the need. And I like to kind of at least let you know what EMC is doing, right? Because we have a challenge finding qualified people. One of the reasons we did this program is we're hoping if we can get out there and get more people educated and teaching them, then when we go to hire, our partners hire, our customers hire, they have less ramp-up time, less training. We can then really easily move them into the product training. And part of the reason we didn't make it really equipment focused is because what our customers and partners told us is we can train them on the equipment, but we want them to understand what it is, right, and how everything works. And so EMC has these programs. We have an associate training program, basically in global services and sales. And I'm going to have a next slide talks a little bit about the global services and support. And these are programs that are geared towards new college graduates coming out. And it's really about getting them into a program where we send them through intensive training, and then they get partnered with like a mentor, and then they can be successful. And I have a list of those job roles in the next slide. But I also like to mention that we have a rotational training program for people who are interested in marketing or finance or HR, where the student goes into like 18 months when they get hired, and then they rotate every 3 months within the company into different groups.
This is within EMC?
Yeah, within EMC. So, and then we also have, now granted, a lot of this is in Massachusetts, doesn't mean we don't have some, but that's where we're headquartered. But we have a lot of paid internships and co-op opportunities as well. And there's a lot more information on those. So most of them don't require any IT experience, right? And then it kind of sends them through this, boot camp. And then even the people who get hired and apply for this program can look and see, well, what am I most interested in as far as, is it software, is it technical education, is it storage operations, or whatever. So we actually have these tracks designed so that it really helps EMC be more effective when, instead of just hiring and doing on-the-job training, they really get a chance to. And the first thing that they take, guess what, is the information storage and management course, the basic level course, before we send them through any other training. So this is, I think, the best kept secret. But a lot of companies actually have these types of programs geared towards. And these are some of the partners that we currently have in the program, just some of the schools that we currently have. Just a snapshot of who they are here in the US. Like David's here from VMware, and David and I know each other, and like one of the schools, Georgia Southern, that's in the program, just jumped into his program too. So, but anyways, if you're interested, I have a comprehensive list. And here's like a quote. Brian Cameron is the first school that we brought on, Penn State. I don't know how familiar any of you are with Penn State. They have their own college of IT that the state actually funded and said, we want you to be focused on industry. And they have special funding for that to be more current with the times. And I think his quote is very good. It says, the partnership is valuable to Penn State for several reasons, namely the storage technology course adds another unique differentiator to our existing information sciences and technology curriculum. More important, the relationship with EMC represents our ability to partner with industry leaders. As with any good partnership, both parties benefit, and in this case, the real winners are the students. And I know we've hired a lot of the students from Penn State from this program. And this is another quote from China. We have about 40 schools in China and about 100, and I want to say 50, it's probably more in India. So, but the quick steps on how you become a partner is pretty easy. You just sign an agreement. It's like a licensing agreement, like a software license. You know, this is EMC's course, and we're giving you a license to use it, right? And then basically, you have to have a teacher that's interested in teaching the course, right? Who's kind of be the point of contact and share information with us, like how many students do you have in the course? When are you teaching it? When are you offering it? And then EMC will provide access to our faculty website where you can get all the materials and tools. We have simulators. So even though it's not product-based, we do have like 3 product simulators. And then there's another great kept secret, it's called freenas.org, which you can just take a PC, any old PC, and you can create your own file share, a file server for students to do backup of files and whatnot. It's super easy. I mean, there's like a ton of videos on YouTube about it even. Like, I'm like, oh, I could create my own file, you know, server there. I mean, like FreeNAS for my file backup. So it's pretty cool. And then basically EMC will then provide you the training dates, various locations across the US, like Santa Clara or Milford, Massachusetts, or like Chicago area, wherever, and whatever's the closest to you, and then you would go to this 5-day instructor-led training. And then EMC does require that you pass the certification exam with 82% or higher, just because that's sort of what we expect of our instructors who teach it. EMC teaches it, and then after that, you decide how you want to implement it. Depending on your program, people might make it a core offering or an elective or a special topics or whatever. And then you basically schedule it and begin teaching it. So the only cost is your travel and expense to the training, and then EMC only funds half of the certification exam voucher. So the certification is $200. EMC gives you a 50% discounted voucher. And actually, we don't require the students to get obviously certified, but if they want to, we give them a 40% discounted exam voucher.
When they go through the program.
After they go through the program, if they want a voucher, we give them that. So they'd pay $120 instead of $200. So we do provide that as well. And I do like to put this up here, just kind of like, so, okay, what qualifies EMC, right, to be doing this? Obviously, well, we're, you know, a leader in this category, right? We like to think we're the best leader, right, just like every other company. But we really have been ranked number 2, right under PricewaterhouseCoopers, and the top 125 training organizations. So I do like to put that up here because EMC has really, you know, been ranked progressively higher since 2004. We've really focused on education and all of that, and it's really been, you know, excelling. So do like to put that up there. And then finally, I like to end with a little humor, which is, I don't know if any of you guys know Arthur Clarke. Okay, well, I put this up here because it says, we are thirsting for information while drowning in data. So how do I compare that to the cave dwellers that froze to death on beds of coal? Well, it's kind of like they had coal beneath them. They didn't know it, right? But if they could have found it and dug it up, they could have created a fire, right? Well, if companies have all of this information in disparate locations and they're not centrally managing it or deduping it and backing it up and protecting it and all these things, well, they could be a lot more efficient in doing their business a lot better. And even now with the economic downturn, companies want better ROI on their investment, right? So if they can, you know, not have to buy more servers or buy more buy more servers to run their applications, and they can tier their data, then maybe they buy a lower end storage, right? So they can get more efficiencies, right? So there are different ways to look at this. And I didn't get a lot into all the technology piece because I really wanted you guys to get an understanding of the market and the value and why it's important. But I also have all the data here, all these links to the reports and stuff like that. So.